guys, give me a few seconds. I'm gonna do the audio thingy on my laptop and then we can get started, all right? Let's do this. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel / my podcast. I am the marketing nomad. My name is Prithvi Madhukar. I am the author of 0 to 4 Figures and Self-Loved. I'm also a digital entrepreneur and a business owner. A few of the roles that I do take on, I'm a YouTuber, podcaster, Etsy shop owner, and Skillshare teacher as well. All of the links are in the description box below if you would like to check it out. Welcome to episode 183 of the Ask TMN series, where we're going to be talking about how to plan your week effectively in 30 minutes or less. Now, if you're new here and you're wondering, well, what's this Ask TMN thing that you just spoke about? So Ask TMN is a series that I started where I answer some of the most commonly asked questions that solopreneurs may have about marketing, business, as well as mindset. Alrighty guys, without further ado, let's get into how to plan your week effectively in 30 minutes or less. And of course, I do want to say that after watching this video, if this has helped you, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. It also helps me help more solopreneurs with their marketing, business, and mindset, and just basically grow the business that they love. Also, if the topics that I do cover seem interesting to you, you might want to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a YouTube video. Let's get into 3 very simple steps that I do have for you. Now, before we get into the steps, I gotta give you a little bit of a preview. So I have tried so many planning methods, all right? And the thing is, keeping up with that planning method has always been so overwhelming for me. I do it for 2 weeks and then the excitement wears off and then that's it. I just stop planning and then my weeks go haywire. So over the years, this is a very simple process that I have for myself if I actually end up going haywire with my planning and I want to get back on track. Not just that, if I feel like I'm overwhelmed with a lot of things that I have to do, or I have no idea how to plan my week, there's just so much on my plate, then this is the method that I usually go to. It is my fallback method because it is so simple. It is just an absolute skeleton system of a planning method, and I think every single person should know about this, all right? So let's get into step number 1 that I do have for you, which is brain dump. All right, for people like me, the thing is there are just that many things running in my mind, like things to do, all of those things. They're just such a mess in my mind. So I actually have a brain dump page where I just sit down and write all of the tasks that I have to do. And it doesn't necessarily pertain to my business. I have different sections in that brain dump page and I just go writing like, all right, for my personal life, these are the tasks that I want to do for this week. For my business, these are the tasks that I want to do for this week, or this is the task that is pending from last week, so on and so forth. For my exercise routine, I write down my tasks, what else, if I want to have some fun in my life, what are my tasks, my self-care activities, all of them are written down. Now, if you are someone like me and you like things a little bit segregated, I would put the heading, different topics of your life, different areas of your life, and then just start making the list for each of them, just brain dump it all. But if you're not like me and you're okay with just having one single list of everything put together, that's absolutely fine as well. You can do whatever suits you, all right? This entire planning process should be just a starting point for you to do what works for you. I always say this with any of the tips and advice that I do give, all right? So basically, spend at least 5 to 10 minutes just brain dumping, all right? Just plainly brain dump all the tasks that are in your mind, put it onto your paper. And if segregation helps, do segregation. And one thing that I want to be clear is it's not just about business or personal, it's all of it. Add all of your tasks onto that, because the thing is, you are trying to live a balanced life. You are trying to create a life where you are able to cater to each of the aspects of your life. It's not just one area that you want to be hyper focused in, right? At least that's what I hope it is, because that's how life should be. It should never be just centered around one thing. And as much as possible, it needs to be a little bit of everything. At least that's what I think that's what a most fulfilling life seems to me. All right, so because that's the case, it doesn't make sense, at least to me, to just focus on one area and brain dump about that. So I usually just brain dump every single thing that I have to do. I have to go to IKEA, I put that on the list. I have to possibly cook for the week, maybe for my family, I put that in as well. Whatever tasks you have, not just related to your business, but everything, brain dump it, all right? So the first step is to brain dump all your activities. The second is to time block. Very simple process. You just write Monday to Sunday on a A4 sheet of paper. Write down from the moment that you wake up all the way till you sleep. Just do it either in half an hour breaks or 1 hour. For me personally, I like it in half an hour chunks because it helps me kind of go deeper into my day and analyze what's exactly happening and how much time do I have for each activity, so on and so forth. So what you're going to do, simple piece of paper, write the day on the top and then write the time slots on your left side and just go manually placing, okay? Planning where you would like to slot each of these activities. This technique is actually called time blocking. I recommend it. I recommend it like 1000%. It works. It really, really works. Initially, it might be a little bit annoying. I will give that to you. It might be a little bit frustrating because you don't know where what goes and so on and so forth. So for me, the simplest way that I start with time blocking is, you know, the brain dump page that you have. Just write down to the side of each item, just write down how many hours do you think it might take. Like for example, creating the video, for me, maybe it will take an hour. So I write 1 hour over there. Maybe editing takes 2 hours. I write 2 over there. And so once you have the hours laid out for each item, try to slot it into your entire week plan. All right. One thing that I want to put, you know, as an additional pro tip is give yourself breathing space. Okay. Don't just slot everything one after the other. Not just that. Also, try to understand who you are as a person. One thing, one like huge pro tip, okay, I want to say is when it comes to planning your week, it's not just about planning your week. Think of it as a way to get to know yourself. That's how I perceive my entire planning process. This entire planning process, from me planning to me executing it, so on and so forth, it's just a way for me to understand myself. Maybe sometimes, I don't like doing 2 videos in a day, and this is actually a thing for me. I only shoot 1 video a day. That's because I might have the energy to work for 4 more hours after I shoot a video, but I don't have the mental energy to shoot another video. And so understanding these little things about yourself is what you will actually gain from your planning process. So make sure that as you are filling in your time block, try to get to know yourself as a person. Try to see what works for you. I want to be very, very clear about this. You've got to see what works for you. Somebody else might be able to, put in an intense, focused 8 hours. You might not be that kind of person, and that's okay. You've got to figure out what works for you. Maybe you're someone who needs a break every hour. Maybe you can't really do one task for the entire day and you've got to break it up into different things. Or you are someone who needs to focus on just one task for 2 whole days. The thing is, you're a solopreneur. The reason why you started on this journey is because you wanted that flexibility for yourself. And so if you are depriving yourself of that flexibility and copying someone else's plan, then what was the point of getting on this journey, right? So keep that in mind. Find things that work for you, and it's okay that your personality or what works for you is completely different from everybody else. That's completely okay. Learn to love that about you. Learn to accept that about you. That has been a huge, huge process for me when it comes to planning, whether it's planning for my business, planning for my marketing, or planning for my life as well. And yeah, as an extension of that, planning for the week, okay? So keep that in your mind, okay? Understand yourself as a person before you start this time blocking. It's not just the act of time blocking. There's a process of you understanding how you operate, and that is absolutely beautiful in the process by itself, all right? So don't forget that. Then we come to the third step. It's to track and review. Now, like I mentioned in the previous point, you can time block, but while you're executing, you also have to track your time. So what I essentially do is you can either do it on the digital side of it, like you can go to Google Calendar and just as you are going through your day, just mark it. It's very, very simple actually. I personally like doing it on my Google Calendar because it's just easier. But there was a time when I used to do it analog on a piece of paper, just in my small diary, very small that I could carry it everywhere. I'll just keep writing notes as to, okay, 3:15, this is what I did, and then end time, 4 o'clock, so on and so forth. And I'll just keep writing it. Don't analyze it at the point of you tracking it, but later in the night or at the end of the week, try to understand how you operate as a person. This is so, so important. Track your time and Of course, the first few weeks of you planning your week is going to be a little bit frustrating. I will give that to you, and it was frustrating for me. But the point of it, of you tracking your time, is not for you to penalize yourself. Very, very important. It's not for you to say, oh, I planned this and you couldn't even do this. No, we're going to be kind to ourselves, and we are going to show no judgment to how we choose to operate. This is just a learning process. Everything in life has a learning curve. This too has a learning process as well to it, okay? So when you are tracking, you're just trying to understand that, all right, and this is how I personally understood myself as well. So I'll give you an example. Initially, when I first started out, I was like, oh, you know what? Each video probably takes an hour to create. So I'm just gonna do like 2 or 3 videos. I'm just gonna shoot 2 or 3 videos in a single day and then batch those out. But the problem with that, and even after I planned it, I started shooting the second video after taking a few hours of break. But what I realized was my mental energy was drained out. I was repeating the same things that I was talking about in the previous video, and I was unable to create new engaging methods with the audience, and frankly, my mental energy was drained out, even though I had the energy to do maybe other tasks like editing or making the thumbnail or creating those captions, so on and so forth. I had energy for that. I had, all the mental space for that, but I didn't have the mental energy to create another YouTube video. And so from that moment on, like after I realized this, and I constantly kept skipping making videos, like 2 videos a day, and at some point I was so frustrated with myself. I was like, what are you doing? Like, why can't you follow your plan? But here's what you've got to understand. If you're not following your plan, there's something wrong with the plan, not with you. Always keep that in mind. Automatically, we point the finger to ourselves and be like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you follow a simple plan? No, if you're not following the plan, please understand, basic fundamental, there's something wrong with the plan. The plan is not aligned to who you are as a person. Align the plan to you, okay? Do that way, and then you watch how things flow. And so today, once I understood that I was not sticking to the plan and there was something fundamentally wrong with my planning process, I understood that, all right, Prit, you are not someone who can create 2 or 3 YouTube videos in a single day. That might be somebody else. And frankly, I did take the idea from another content creator who I had so much respect for, and I was like in total awe of them. And they used to do like 2 or 3 videos every single day. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. I should do that. No. They could do it, but I couldn't. It was not up to my capabilities, or rather not the way that my mind worked or processed things. For me, I needed that space between YouTube videos to come up with new ideas, to come up with different ways of speaking, to come up with different content narrations that I want to give. And so that's me. That's my style. And so then I understood this, and I was like, you know what? As much as somebody else can do this, I can't. It's not something that allows me to give my top quality content work, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to change my plan. You saw what I did there? I don't change myself, but I change my plan, all right? The plan has to change to align to who you are. Always figure that out. It's not the other way around. Yes, there might be minor tweaks that you need to make in terms of discipline and so on and so forth, but if it is requiring a fundamental big shift in you, yeah, that's usually a sign that it is a problem with the plan, not with you. All right. So as much as possible, align the plan to who you are. So going back to the example that I had, that's when I realized, all right, Prit, you still have energy after you shoot that one video, but you just need that little bit of breathing space between the first video and the second video. So we're going to put in other things that you can do, like maybe write a little bit of your book, maybe create your thumbnails, figure out what you need to do on the back end to get that video out, so on and so forth. And that's what I spend my time doing. And then the next day, I repeat the process all over again, or I make sure there's enough time between my video shoots. So that is me understanding who I am as a person and aligning my plan to that. Not just that, I also want to keep time for self-care activities. I'm just showing my nails because I just did them. But I'm somebody who cares about things like this. I want to give time for my self-care activities. And if I don't do them for more than like a week or 2, I start to get very frustrated, and I kind of lash out on every single aspect of my life. I get very moody and stuff like that. So these little things matter to me. So tracking that, analyzing myself as a person that, all right, I need to slot in this time every single, like maybe Tuesday or Wednesdays. I'm putting in that time for my self-care, or I'm giving myself enough breathing space between each item. So yeah, basically what I want to tell you with the tracking and reviewing is, first off, give time for that. Give time to track. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can just take a rough sheet of paper and just write whatever. Like if you're walking out at this time, just take a look at the time and write it on your piece of paper, carry it with you. You can just be a folded piece of paper, and then you can like formally write it into your journal at the end of the day. That's also something that you can do. For me, I have like a very small pocket book that I used to write. Now I just do it digitally because I'm always with my laptop regardless of where I am. But one thing that I've noticed with time tracking is there is a very, very subtle mental switch that happens in your mind, and you don't even realize it. You start looking at the time more often. You start observing how much time are you taking for every single activity, and you don't even realize it. This happens so subconsciously. It is beautiful. It is amazing to see how your mind just automatically starts observing how much time you're taking. And of course, that helps you with the next week as well. Like, for example, you gave yourself maybe 1 hour to shoot videos this week. That was the plan you had in mind. But when you actually started doing the process, you realized it was taking you 1.5 hours with the setup time. So keep that into account. Once you go through with your tracking, review it. Say, all right, I took 1.5 hours. Don't berate yourself for not taking an hour. Understand that that is your process. That is who you are. This is so, so important when it comes to planning, all right? Make the plan aligned to you, not the other way around. Yes, you're gonna need some discipline, a little bit of mindset shifts to implement the plan, but if it's involving a big personality shift in you, yeah, first off, you are not going to manage it. And there's a reason why you are the way that you are. Find things that work for you. Create things that work for you, all right? You are unique, so naturally the systems and processes that align with you are going to be unique. Find them, create them if necessary. All right, you are an entrepreneur. Creating is part of your DNA, right? So keep that in mind. Don't berate yourself if you're unable to follow your plan. Understand that maybe the plan needs tweaking at that moment in time, and figure out what you can fix in the plan, not in you. Fix in the plan, align it to you. Okay? That's a huge mindset shift, and that's why I'm so comfortable in planning now. Like, I absolutely know that if I'm not sticking to my plan, there's not a problem with me. There's a problem with the way that I plan. There's a problem with my plan itself. It has not catered to who I am as a person. And then I start looking in, start reviewing it, start adding in little bits of what matters to me. Like, for example, I'm somebody who needs like maybe half an hour break between each task, just to kind of separate my thoughts from whatever's going on to what I have to work on next. I'm just somebody like that, you know? And so I give myself that breathing space, and through tracking and reviewing, that's how I analyze. Maybe I go for a 30-minute walk. I slot in my 30-minute walk. So understand that the entire planning process very fundamentally is about you getting to know yourself and seeing what works for you and planning accordingly. All right, that is super, super key. And I've written over here, you know, give time to yourself to gauge how much time you're going to take for each item, who you are as a person, so on and so forth. And yes, there's going to be a learning curve. Yes, it's going to be a little bit frustrating in the beginning, but I promise you, as time goes, as you start getting to know yourself and you understand that the problem is not with you, it is with the plan, and you've got to fix the plan. You've got to keep tweaking the plan according to the person that you are. That's when it becomes that much more easier for you to stick to the plan, because it's evolving along with you as well. All right. So my conclusion, just to wrap up this entire podeo, is don't overcomplicate the process. Like I said, this is 3 very simple steps. I do it. It works. It works so well for me. I've done so many different things, and I'm not saying that other techniques are not good. I've implemented them, and it's certain phases of my life or certain situations for my business, they've been very, very integral. But when you are talking about week planning and something that you want to stick with consistently for a very, very long period of your time, and you want to actually follow through with it, I'd say don't overcomplicate it. Just keep it as simple as possible. Align the plan to who you are. That is very, very key. Align the plan to who you are, which means you've got to get to know who you are as well. All right. And when you are getting to know yourself, you know, don't get to know yourself, I guess I would say, with judgment. Don't do that. No, without any judgment. This is just who you are. That's it. You know, don't try to, maybe over time there are certain things that you'll be able to correct, or I wouldn't even say correct. Maybe you would just want to tweak it a little bit better. You want to keep evolving yourself, I guess I would say. And that's okay. But today you are here. Work your plan according to who you are today, not who you think you're going to be 6 months from now. Okay, that is also very, very important. I've made that mistake so many times. I've like thrown away plans in frustration because of that. But understand that you are who you are today. Make your plan today according to who you are today. 6 months down the line, yes, you are going to be evolving as a person. Then you make your plan according to the person that you are at that point in time. Okay, so your plan has to be according to who you are. That's where the alignment is. Okay, that's where the mindset shift has to happen. And a few things that I've written over here is this entire process is under 30 minutes. It's really under 30 minutes. Brain dump, 5 to 10 minutes. Just slotting in, it's probably another 10 minutes. And your tracking and review, it's going to be every single day just for 5 minutes. You know, it doesn't even have to take more than a few seconds just to write down whatever it is you're doing, or even just put it on your calendar if you're somebody who uses your laptop all the time. And reviewing, yes, that's probably going to take you a little bit time at the end of every week, like maybe 5 to 10 minutes saying, oh, okay, mark out the points where you did not match with your plan, like mark it in red or mark it in green, figure out the reason why, and then try to use that reason as a starting point for your next week's planning. Just be cognizant of all of the things that stopped you from following the plan, and make sure that you are learning from that, as in you are figuring out who you are as a person and how you operate. And the information that you've gathered is just a way for you to plan better in the future. All right. And one last thing that I do want to say before I sign off is find a process that works for you. Always, always, always find a process that works for you. Like I always keep saying, and I've said it like multiple times throughout this entire audio, the plan has to align with who you are today. The plan has to align with who you are today, which means you can use whatever I've spoken about as a starting point, but you can put in your tweaks to make sure that it fits better to who you are. At the end of the day, a huge part of this entrepreneurial journey is about getting to know who you are as a person and how you can use that to make yourself and your business a lot better or a lot more smoother or aligned. Either one of those work. All right, so yeah, thank you so much for listening all the way up until here. If you like this video, do give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a video. Of course, if you want to catch my 2 books, they are available on Amazon. The first one is 0 to 4 Figures, Lessons Learned by a Broke CEO. The second one is Self-Love, 1000 Journal Prompts for Healing, Discovery, Self-Discovery, and growth as well. Wow, forgot that for a second. And of course, I do have a bunch of productivity planners. Those 2 are available on Amazon. All of the links, everything, details are all in the description box below. I'll catch you in my next audio. Bye-bye.